Hi, everybody. Sorry for the starting the video. I kind of don't know. Like, okay, it says I'm live, but sometimes I kind of like wonder if I am. It generally starts at like 5 seconds after the video started. So yeah. So I was going to do this about how I was so busy doing other things. Okay. Okay. Why is it saying it's my connection is unstable? Please wait while we try to reconnect. Seriously? I'm just going to thank you. So I'm going to just continue to talk. And if it does that again, I'd be like, yeah. Okay, so welcome to another from the Agora, and it's entitled Dionysus and the Play. To try my hand at this. I suck at like doing like variations of different things and why things are connected, and pardon me because I probably suck at this. So, but at least I'm going to try and everything. So, um, Dionysus is the god of wine. He is the god of revelry, drunkenness, wild ecstasy to the play. And I love plays. I really do. I love plays. I was always drawn to play. That plays are wonderful. They express emotion. They're that word is probably why Dionysus is connected to the play as much as he is. My personal opinion, because of the feeling you get when you go to a play. You feel ecstatic, you feel wonderful, feeling that you get a video game out called Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And reading an article last year about how they're taking this game minus the assassination elements and stuff like that, and they're using it to educate children and teens. One of the scenes in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the play amphitheater, and they had a play, and I think it's on the stage. I'm not exactly sure where it's at, but no, it's in general vicinity of the audience. And there is a sacrifice burning on the altar. And the sacrifice is to Dionysus. So I'm going to Google that because it's really interesting about how they're connected, or how the Greeks. It's really interesting about how they're connected, or how the Greeks. Plays. Um, First theater and built to honor Dionysus, the god of wine. Both comedies and tragedies. First theater and built to honor Dionysus, the god of wine. Both comedies and tragedies outdoor theater and were part of a competition anyone could attend. Elaborate costumes helped the performances reach every audience member. Then they have etc.ancient.eu. Around the world in the form of stage plays or in recent art that entertains people around the world in the form of stage plays or in recent times. It developed as a week-long competition uttering in the spring season and on some other interpretations god of fertility. Now I thought that was Apollo's area. I thought that was Apollo's area. So if someone could explain to me why he's also the god of music, I would definitely appreciate that, because even though I have been, I'm back in Hellenism and everything and all that wonderful stuff, I still have trouble with the mythologies and why a god is connected to this certain sphere of influence and why they might share the same sphere of influence as another god. I'm still kind of confused about that, hence why I have this channel, so I can unconfuse myself. Yes, unconfused is actually a word in my book. Um, all right, and it says here the festival often began with a procession through the city. This was believed to be a blessing of the crops of Athens, so farmers would have a fruitful harvest. As the procession progressed towards the temple of Dionysia, some Athenian citizens rejoiced, danced, and played tamarines, while others were much more solemn, displaying their dignity and wearing very lavish robes. Okay, so Athenian acting seems to be dominated by three. The theater known as the Theateron had three sections which housed the orchestra that included 10 to 15 singers, which consisted of large crowds, often as well as 18,000. Athens of Athenians. The type of play performed was also dominated by three. Athenians performed a comedy tragedy, the satire usually with masks, the kind of play. During the city, Dionysia played tragedies seemed to dominate the competition. However, again, keeping with the theme of three actors to dominate the competition. However, again, keeping with the theme of three actors assembled on stage, and only men were allowed to perform. If there were roles that were meant for women, male actors portrayed the women. Um, yeah. Okay. I have one about the festival of Dionysus, the origins of ancient Greek theater. That is it's a website where they help you with your homework, which I thought was really cool. Um, Let me see here. Um, yes, it's interesting. Are gods of the creative arts in the Greek tradition. Uh, he is Thebes. Dionysus is directly invoked through. I cannot even pronounce the name. Uh, the origin of theater. The first plays done by PBS. Temple of Dionysus. Yeah. So there's a lot of really interesting things. Um, but yeah, that struck me as something that they have the theater, which probably what I mentioned, um, and sorry, and they have a sacrifice on there, and it's dedicated to, as far as I know, to Dionysos. I actually have not played Assassin's Creed Odyssey if I do it from the Play Store. So, oh, there you have it on that. Um, but I think it's interesting when we I think it's interesting when that, and I'm going to bring this up because I can. That and I don't know if this Mendoza basically theater. Um, because he banned a lot of stuff. Um, let's see here. Um, see. Alright. Yay. Thankfully for me. Okay. All right. Let's see. Um, okay. Here's something. I'm kind of like. Uh, okay. Okay. Let's see here. This is a Christian one. I'm a really big fan of that, but see. Let's see here. Um, let's see. Let's see here. Um, uh, yeah. So one thing I like about this is that the site basically bashes the return of the Olympic Games. Uh, so I don't and all that stuff. Um, oh, here's something. Digital Commons is interesting. I like Digital Commons. Okay. Oh yeah, get a PDF file. Woohoo! Uh, it says speculation of the death of Roman theater. It's an undergraduate review back in '96. Lords, I was 16. That is so scary. Um, okay, so it says here. Uh, Okay. Ancient Roman theater is a continuation of Greek theater. Between these two period dramas had survived and flourished for well over 1,000 years. Yet by the 7th century, theater in the Western world had ended and didn't reappear until the birth of the liturgical drama of the 10th century. How could such a long-standing classical tradition die? Many scholars believe that the death of the Roman theater was a result of Christian influence. However, the church did not oppose to drama per se. It was opposed to the immorality at the core of Roman theater. The true death of theater took place over centuries of artistic decline. The church had a large part in its legal death, but the theater itself had already deteriorated to such a point that its collapse was inevitable. Roman drama had never been much more than a plagiarism of Greek tragedy and comedy. Very little original drama was developed in the Roman Republic, but there had at least been some interest in literary drama. Unfortunately, as far as Roman drama on the whole is concerned, it is clear that no one wrote for the stage except to make money. Stages such as Pompeii, in which the majority of people were slaves and foreigners, showed a distinct lack of interest in literary theater. For this reason, some creator developed the and this taste of the Roman people centered on the sensual. In the first century AD, mime and something replaced literary drama. Okay, so Okay, so apparently this was something that um yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So the deterioration in the quality of theater was seen to reflect the greater lack of morality through Rome by both Christian and Roman thinkers alike. Charges of immorality, some else of the theater, was made by both Christian and non-Christians. Christians saw uh, the support of theater by the rulers and by the general population proof of the moral collapse of the state as pagan institutions. Uh, okay, all right. So apparently, okay. So apparently, Christian, non-Christians alike agreed that basically Roman theater sucked. So I think like the demise of the theater was necessary for all this fresh and uh, new, new, uh, you know, inspiration to come. And we definitely benefit from it because it allowed new stuff to come out and old stuff to be removed, or and of course we have the great plays from Shakespeare and things. But Dionysus, I think, will always be connected with the theater, and when you read about it, um, the decline and the decline and the dissolving of the theater had nothing to do with Dionysus or paganism. Not sorry, Dionysus or sacrifice had everything to do with the fact is that the Romans basically polluted the theater. But when it's interesting when I go and watch a play on my phone. Um, I always think about like the old plays that the Greeks had and why these plays were important to the health of the Greek world. And it's interesting. I was watching this video. This atheist was having this Hellenic on there, and he was talking about the play, and he was talking about you know all that. And then I was actually watching another one. It was a podcast, uh, Cat's Eye something, and basically it was a form of. He said it was a form of therapy, something like that, and definitely it's like you're always like putting your your life in perspective of these plays. And I think that Dionysus allows the listener and the viewer to kind of escape from the troubles of the world, and how Dionysus puts your own stuff, in this, um, kind of like this perspective, which is always great. But when the theater was no longer done, the theaters basically they decayed, except for the real well-built ones. Oh, hi, hey there. Hope you're enjoying my video about Dionysus and the theater. So, Dionysus and the play. Um, and it was always like, I really haven't I really read any of the old plays, like, Euripides and Medea and all that type of stuff. And so I'm actually going to check those plays out and kind of like try to envision, the actors on the screen, on the stage. But I know there's like, speaking of plays, there's a website, a service that you can watch like all the old plays, and some of the people that we'll need to check that other video out once you're done here. Oh, okay, cool. Um, but yeah, so I'm kind of going to start reading those plays and kind of try to envision the people on the stage acting out these parts and everything, because I think that ancient Greek plays were this kind of like this moment that you forget about yourself and just focus on the play. And William Shakespeare, he had a great way of doing it. And you know, but I think that is the sad part about the destruction of, not destruction, but like the downfall of the Greek world, and how Greece became a Roman province, and how they basically took all the artisans and all the playwrights and everything like that, all those people, and shoved them to Greece or Italy, and made them basically copy their culture onto Roman culture, and how they ended up destroying the play and turning it into something that it wasn't. And I personally think disrespecting Dionysus in the process. But that's just my own personal opinion. But a lot of these old Greek theaters, they fell into disuse, they fell into ruin. Like as I said, except for the really good built ones. And there is a let me see if I can find it, because I think it's interesting. Uh, um, okay, this is from 2009, so they actually have done that. Um, this is one is 2013. It's on the ancient theater of Sparta. It's supposed to be restored. Um, let's see. Uh, well, this is from last year. This is really cool. Oh, that's nice. Um, says, um, let me see here. Uh, it says here the theater slept buried in various landscapes until discovered in the late 18th, 19th centuries by the new breed of scientists. Archaeology discoveries and restorations of these ancient theaters continues to this day. Um, Today, a handful of these ancient places have returned to use for performances of music and drama. Because they're fragile, open to the elements, they're usually only in use for a few weeks to a few months of the year. During special festivals, uh, let's see here, the Odeon of Herodotus Atticus is the first one. Second one is the Great Ancient Theater of Epidaurus at the Sanctuary of Asclepius. That is a dang freaking big theater. The Little Ancient Theater of Asclepius at Peloponnese. Cool. The Ancient Theater of Philippa of northern eastern Greece. These are theaters that are open, but you can only watch performances for a couple weeks to a couple months. Theater of Thassos, the theater of ancient Dion near, I cannot pronounce it. Yeah, so that's it. Have been really fun. I find that there is something more natural and organic about theaters, and more famous amphitheaters in Greece still holds outdoor plays during the summer. That's cool. I did not know that. I really did not know that. It sucks because this COVID is really keeping people from enjoying these places. But yeah, so you know, my is that the theater as being in the theater, and so every time that you go to it, feels like that Dionysus is there, and and I was actually reading and I was actually reading You could be the back of that theater, performances even from back there. And that is to be on the first level or the first row to, because the masks amplified their sound. Um, let's see, what else? I'm trying to think. Um, but yeah, him on a lot of his plays. That's my own personal opinion. He, you know, and it's been a really long time since I've read it. I read when I was 18 years old. I actually told my mom that I wanted to change my name, and told her, I said, I'm serious about this. I really want to change my name. And she's like, okay, so we'll go and we'll get a baby book. You discover that when you look through a baby book. And I don't know why they have books out there that actually keeps you from making really bad mistakes and damaging your child's psyche, but people don't use them. I don't know why. And so I was flipping through it and flipping through it, and there's all these wonderful names like Clara and Violet and all these different beautiful names, all these beautiful names, and then of course some really weird names like Candy. Yeah. Yes, sounds yummy. That one actress in that one movie. Um, and so I came across the name Hermione, and I thought that was a really beautiful name. And it was interesting. I can't remember the title of the book, but it was about baby names, and it gives you like examples of like Hermione is Greek, and should have been a religious choice. It was Hermione was Greek, and it said that she. And then it's like, so I chose the name. I kept my middle name, getting a piece of paper with the seal of Massachusetts on it, saying basically that this is my name, and I love my name. I love my name. I do. And it's very Greek in origin. And I'm pretty sure Shakespeare knew about that when he chose the name. Shakespeare was not illiterate. He was a very and everything, and they were very, beautiful. And so I remember, and I glared at her and I'm like, yes, I know it's the name of Harry Potter's female best friend. But later on, I discovered that Hermione is the feminine name for the god Hermes. And that just blew my mind away. I was like, awesome. And then I found out that there is a little village in Greece called Hermione, and I was blown away. And that just made me love my name even more than it did back when I discovered it. I felt, like I said, it should have been an indication of my future religious choice. If I could name myself Hermione. It's like, it just amazes me. And I'm looking at these pictures of these old theaters and everything, and I'd be like, wow, imagine all those people there, and the sacrifices to Dionysus is going on, and this, it's just, the masks, and and the words, and it just, you can tell why Dionysus was linked to the play, and why Dionysus was an important god when it dealt with performances. And there's actually a parade. I don't know when it is, but they go and they walk down the avenue with this giant phallus, and it's in honor of Dionysus. And I laugh at it because it's weird and it's kind of odd. But I have such deep respect for the fact is that they have the guts to walk down the street with a giant phallus, and everything. Says, what is your take on the whole debate of Hestia taking on the throne of? Oh, okay, my debate. So, I personally, all right, I personally think Dionysus should have gotten his own throne, um, but that's my own personal opinion. Yeah, he's laughing at the giant phallus. That's my brother. He's laughing at the giant. It's a Greek thing. It's a Greek thing. But Hestia is the goddess of the hearth, and she got a throne because she was one of the first of the six Olympians, and then of course when Zeus had, Zeus sired, Athena and Apollo and Artemis and everything. They sort of like started like filling up, but you know, my own personal opinion is that it kind of downgraded Hestia's position as Zeus's sister. That's my own personal opinion. Hestia earned that throne. She earned that throne by fighting against Kronos. Dionysus comes along and he's that type of stuff, and Hestia just gives it up. And it's kind of like, I know she's happy near the hearth, but she earned that throne. And that's my opinion about that. But, it doesn't degrade or doesn't say that Dionysus is not an important deity, but he didn't earn it by fighting Kronos. Now, he did help the Olympians fight the let's see. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. That's, let's see. Okay. See here. Okay. So it's interesting is why is Hestia not an Olympian? All right. Okay. So it says here, in Greek mythology, there are 12 chief gods known as Olympians. Olympians refer to the gods who reside in Olympus. Their names within the Olympian pantheon vary from writer to writer. One pantheon has Hades, god of the dead, in the list, but the most common tradition has Demeter, goddess of corn, as an Olympian deity. In my views, Hades was Olympian when he fought alongside his brothers during the war against the Titans. The reason he wasn't seen as an Olympian was that Hades seldom left his underworld domain, so his sister Demeter was the Olympian instead of him. Of all the gods on the list, Hestia, goddess of the hearth, was the least known and the least active in mythology. According to the myth of Dionysus, Hestia stepped down in favor of the young god of wine. Um, yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, I'm just looking stuff up. A lot of folks get so wound up about this, especially in the Hellenic pagan communities. I think it mainly stems from the author Robert Graves. Okay. In eyes, I believe both Hestia and Dionysus are Olympians and both have a seat at the table, so to speak. I believe Hestia is quite happy poking the Olympian fire, sort of. That's actually, yeah, true. I agree with that. She actually did willingly give up her throne. However, I do view Hestia as an Olympian, um, mainly because she fought alongside her brothers against Kronos and the Titans. Um, my own personal opinion is no, you can do this, all this stuff, and that can never be taken away because you did that. Nobody else did that. I mean, yeah, okay. So Zeus and Hades and Poseidon and Hera and Demeter, they also fought alongside. They all fought together against Kronos and his Titans. Um, but she had every bit to do with that, and there's no way that Dionysus can take that away from her. No matter that she gets up and sits next to the fire and Dionysus takes her throne, she's still an Olympian because of the fact that she fought against Kronos. Well, it makes sense that Hades isn't technically Olympian due to what you said of Hades rarely leaving the underworld. It was interesting about Hades. I love the Percy Jackson books, and I'm actually going to do a video about from the Angoras, and I actually have written down all these little topics I want to talk about the gods in media and television and books and movies, stuff like that. And it's interesting is that when Percy goes to visit Hades, his temple, his domain, is a copy of Mount Olympus, of Zeus's digs, so to speak, and everything. And of course, in his palace, he's got a throne. So the Cyclops had to have built this throne for him when he went down to the underworld. I find it very hard to believe that Hades would create this throne himself. The Cyclopses had to have had a hand in its construction, and they probably built Persephone's throne as well, so that she would have a place. And it's interesting is Percy says that Hades looks like every dictator. Oh man, but I did like, speaking of the books, I did like the idea that Hades' domain was in California and Los Angeles, which probably explains why it's so violent over there. But I just thought it was stroke of genius. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. But it's interesting is when in the books, when it goes up to Mount Olympus for their annual get together where they argue about who's the better brother, Zeus actually makes a throne appear, and it has to stem from the lots, how basically Hades got the shot. But but like Dionysus, he goes and he rescues his mother from the underworld. Hades was not happy about that, pretty sure. And he brings her up to Mount Larry when you are constantly surrounded by dead people. No, I actually would not be happy. I would not be a happy person. If I would, there's a gods, and they talk about Hades. He was such a cute little baby, and there's this whole inheritance thing. And when he gets the short end of the stick, he gets the underworld. And said it was fated to Hades that he would gain the underworld, and it sort of bent him. So he became a very cold and very resentful. But so I mean, the Olympians are very interesting. I do consider. I know some people might think that this is wrong or whatever, but it's stuff. But um, about the show about Hades was that he was equated with the Antichrist, or and he was like basically pushed into Tartarus too. And so really there weren't really the God, I can't pronounce it, but I will actually use Rick Ryden's words by calling it a house of Hades. And it's interesting is the description of the house of Hades. I do think that he used the actual word for it, but it is called the House of Hades, and basically it is a twist to the usage of that particular particular. I'm gonna look it up. So, see, um, it's a underground temple. Uh, it's let's see if I can find out. Let's see if they put that on there. Um, didn't. Okay, so apparently it's a temple, underground temple in in Epidaurus. So it's an underground temple in Epidaurus. Um, so it's interesting, Epidaurus. All right, I want to actually ask. All right. Okay, it's called uh, the necromantion of Acheron. Okay, that's what it is. That is what it is. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so a lot of time, like 99% of the time, when Rick Ryden, there's also another one where the gases were actually, um, was it down below, like ground level, and small animals would actually die, but adults wouldn't die. So it's kind of like, wow, that is interesting. It was actually on this it was sacred sites. So I thought that was interesting. But ouch. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, poor animals, but interesting. Yeah, it was like birds would land and die, and like animals would walk in and die. But okay, so it was known as the Gate of Hell. My mother had a comment about that. It's like, no, that's not what it actually means. Okay, so it says here. Ancient Romans believed it was the breath of Pluto that killed animals led into the cave, but science has since offered explanation. It was gas. It was gas. Um, yeah. It says here the city was founded on a thermal spa early in the 6th century BC. Ancient people put great store in the power of thermal springs to heal ailments, and so the town rose a prominence and attracted people from Greece and Rome to bathe. Um, they had a grand temple to Apollo. It had a plutonium. Plu- plutonium. I just can't pronounce that. The center of the worship of Pluto. Pluto was the ruler of the underworld in Roman mythology. His Greek counterpart was Hades, while Zeus ruled the earth and Poseidon the sea. Pluto governed the underworld and was solely responsible for who lived and died. And nowhere was this power more evident than, well, that one place. They actually have a big amphitheater, which is beautiful. Um, yeah, so there was actually, and I think like, was it, so if you go there and if you're basically, you can tell you can tell when you go to an ancient site that has basically been, or basically you can tell that the church tried to destroy the power of the place, because they'll be like fillers in, or or um, various different types of things, which is really sad to see that. Um, Come on, yeah. Only shows like one thing. Yeah, only shows one thing. Interesting. Let's see what this was about. Because I'm still looking. Yeah, it's the gate to hell. My mother actually thought that literally was the gate to hell. I'm like, no, that's not. And of the site in the southern Turkey that is Strabo. He threw some birds in and they fell and they died. Like, seriously, of course they freaking died, morons. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, that's weird. Um, see. It says here the site remained fully functional in the 4th century AD and became an important pilgrimage destination for the last pagan intellectuals. Historians believe the site was sacked by Christians in the 6th century AD, with several earthquakes adding to the damage. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm gonna end it myself. I've been at it for over an hour. But yeah, the Gates of Hell is an interesting location in Turkey. But you can always see evidence that that Christians came around and they sacked the great day, and until next time, be blessed and be healthy, happy, and be kind to everyone. Bye.